for tuning in today. We entertain the village and talk about shit we stole. Hey, it's rage and pillage. Interviewing all the players, every place we filled and reminiscing on the days that we made a killing. Burley, no chill, man. Got the Viking mindset. Bring the minds to your buildings, leaving fire behind us. So reminder, we drink till the drink diminish. Give a fuck what you think. Came to rage and pillage. Are you ready?
Oh, hell yeah, bitches. I'm fucking back. Rage and Pillage podcast. I'm your host, Burley. And Janu Burley's still going on. It's still kicking ass. And as always, I'm joined by, well, not as always, he's finally back. He's back after 2 weeks on the road.
The vibe curator.
Uh-huh.
The frequency elevator.
Yep.
Black Brother Thunder.
Uh-huh.
The chocolate boy wonder.
Josh is here. What's up, brother? Welcome back.
Man, I am happy to be back, dude. That was a shit 2 weeks that I went through, but I'm ready to be back now.
Can we talk about it a little bit in a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right, cool. Do I got a delay on your end? Looks like you're staring at the screen for a second before you reply. Am I frozen up on your end?
No, but the audio seems like it's taking a second to come through again.
Are you getting the same thing, Dave?
No, I think on my end it's fine.
Okay.
I have to kick these.
We are gonna start we're gonna start a Patreon for Josh's internet. It's where you live out on you're living out on the lake, bro. That's the problem. We are joined by a hilarious motherfucker.
Nothing out here.
What's that? All right.
I said I live out here in the damn boonies and there's nothing there. I know, dude. It's terrible. I'm going to tell him to get off.
Wait, we're joined by a funny motherfucker. He's an actor, comedian, fucking does a bunch of shit. I looked at his website. He does a bunch of sketches on YouTube and shit. I don't know. That's probably acting, right? Is that considered acting in your world, brother?
Not for a while. That was a pandemic thing. We could talk about it. I'm trying to do more again.
You got to. They were funny. They're funny. Dave Jenkins is here. What is up, brother?
What's going on? I was told to have a drink.
Drinking is encouraged heavily.
That's all I had.
Right out the bottle like a fucking man. Hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Give me that hell yeah.
Here's the thing. I felt insecure. Yesterday I always have this. This is an October Fest glass, and I just drank water out of it because I'm crazy about hydrating. But yesterday I had like 3 or 4 craft beers that I crammed into there, and I just had that before I went to bed. It was great.
Here's the move. You gotta. Was it Merlot or Cabernet?
I don't know. It's fucking red. That's all I care about is the color.
Okay. Well, it's a big enough bottle. A real man fills that stein.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Pour it in, but I feel like a stein full of red just makes me look like a fucking vampire or something. I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that, dude. Fucking. I mean, old Twilight dude's doing all right. Fucking.
Yeah, I responsibly source my blood, so it's cool.
Hell yeah. So, Josh hasn't been on the show in 2 weeks. He's been going through some stuff. Fucking. You want to give the quick version, not too detailed, to make it weird, or you can go the full version. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. No, it's fine. So my grandmother wasn't doing well at all. We got a call from my dad and saying that he thought that she only had about 2 months to live, and well, so I said, okay, well, I'll go over there and see her. This past weekend, and I get over there and she already was just terrible. I said, there's no way she's making it 2 months. And she couldn't even move. She couldn't speak. So I wound up just staying at her house with my dad and helping take care of her because she couldn't even move. We had to lift her up to get her out of bed so she could use the bathroom. And then to lift her back into the bed and get her adjusted so she could, go back to sleep. Well, did that for 6 days, and then that was Sunday. That started Sunday, and then stayed all week. And then Friday morning, about 2:30, I woke up about 2:30 in the morning and found her. She had passed probably not long after we'd given her last dose of morphine, which, and it's sad, but it's what she wanted. It's what we wanted for her to go because she couldn't even breathe. She was breathing like 11. She was breathing like one time every 11 seconds. So it was
Eesh.
rough.
Yeah. Okay, so my first thought when you were describing this to me, how's this for a kickoff for a show, Dave? Huh? Isn't this hilarious?
Listen, if nothing else, I mean, I'm sorry to hear that, but B, it's interesting just because I did read something that's way darker than what just was talked about.
No, let's go.
But the reason I bring it up is it sounds like there's no like good way to say it, but like it's good that she didn't drag on for 2 months.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's good, right? That's a mercy. I just read something crazy where a lady, first I read the headline and I thought it was like a terror thing. Like it said a woman shot her terminally ill husband in a hospital. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
like,
I saw that too, but I didn't read it.
Yeah, like I was like, after I read the headline, I'm like, just let him die. Like, how much did you hate the guy, really? But apparently it was a mercy. Like whatever state it happened in, they don't have assisted suicide. So he was just dying in pain. And she was like, all right, you want me to do it? I'll do it. And then just fucking shot him. And then I guess got arrested. I don't know. But like, how crazy.
She's going to end up getting murder one for fucking helping her husband. Damn. Well, I was thinking about this, like, whenever you were going through your shit and you were kind of updating me in text and everything. And I was just like, Dave's a pretty fit dude. Nobody's going to have a real problem. But if somebody had to like get you up to use the bathroom and stuff like that, who's doing that? I'm a big old boy, like I think I'm just shit in the bed, bro. Straight up, bro. Like
I think they would just cut a hole in the bed and just keep you where you are.
They're gonna have to. They'll have to. Did y'all ever see Gilbert Grape? Fucking, they're just gonna have to get the crane and fucking take me out the house, bro.
Just burn the house down.
But another thought I had was you've officially, because this was gonna be a topic on the podcast months ago, but then it just never happened. But now you officially have dead people on your walls in your house, like pictures. I had this thought not long ago. I was like, at what point in your life do you start having dead people on your walls, like as pictures and stuff? I haven't lost any of my I haven't lost my parents. I haven't lost anybody. So like, everybody's alive on my walls. Do you have any dead people on your walls, Dave?
Well, I don't know what this says about me, but I don't have anyone on the walls.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
I get it. You got you have your posters, your Jägermeister posters and shit. Yeah,
yeah. All the shit on my wall is just stupid fucking Target or CVS art or something like that. Or,
you got live, laugh, love, and all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a fucking drawing of a cactus that someone made in Adobe in 30 seconds.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I have. So it's weird with my grandparents. This is funny. So everyone gets 4 grandparents. I have one left. So my parents are the same age as each other, right? But my mom is the oldest of her family and my dad's the youngest. So my parents' are separated in age by 30 fucking years.
Wow.
Goddamn. Back in the day, that wasn't like a thing, huh?
Well, no. Like my dad's parents are close in age, but they were born 30 years before my mom's parents.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
Like my dad's parents, they had him last and they had kids late anyway. And then on my mom's side, my mom's mom had her when she was like 16 or 15 or something.
So like, now have you done the math on like, okay, someone had real good pullout game.
Everyone had terrible pullout game. My grandma and my grandpa were like sophomores in high school and then had my mom. Like they literally they couldn't sign a lease to get their own place because they weren't 18. Like it was ridiculous.
Wow.
So that couple is 30 years younger than my dad's parents. So like, I've never really asked them this question, but like, what the fuck did they talk about at the wedding? Like they're from different generations.
Yeah.
My mom's mom was 14 when she married my grandpa.
God damn.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So how old is he?
18, I guess, 17.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you ever think?
But no, like it's one thing that they're young. It's just different that like they're like when they met the parents, like they're all from different genres in history. Like
Yeah, it's gotta be
my oldest
odd.
grandpa was born 2 years before the Titanic sank, and my youngest grandpa was born during World War II. Like
Wow.
it's so
God
far
damn.
apart.
Yeah.
I never met any of my grandparents, but I met one of them, but he's a piece of shit, so I only met him once. But like my dad was born in 45, so he's way back there too, you know. So like and then my mom I think is like 18 years younger than him, but he didn't meet her till he was like in his 30s, you know. So it was fine,
Right.
but like I hear about like back in the day, like you got like this 30-year-old man marrying an 18-year-old. I'm like, dude, you could clean up back in the day. Nowadays, there's the internet and shit telling you it's wrong. Back then, I could trick some young whore into fucking.
I mean, it always, that's something I think about where like it sounds good for like a second, but I just knowing myself, like I'm 29, I fucking hate every person that's 18 years old. I don't want to live with them.
Yeah. But you're thinking about it nowadays with diseases. Imagine pre-diseases, dog. You know, right? I mean, before AIDS was a thing, before they had names for a lot of these things, it was just free love, bro. It was free love.
No, but just like having an 18-year-old, it's not that the American dream is alive, but let's say I had an income and that could support both of us, and she didn't have to work. If I just had an 18-year-old girl at home all day and I was at work, I don't even know what I would talk about when I got back. Like they're
nowadays or back then, because back then they knew their place. That's fucked up. Fucking.
Just like whole different interests, like music and movies.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
for
I mean,
sure.
Back then there wasn't as much stuff.
Yeah, there was
have
3
in common
channels on the
anyway.
television, and fucking the dishes. Which one are they gonna choose? Because if my meal is not warm when I get home, I'll tell you what. How did we
Somebody's getting shook.
How did we get here? This is the show you're on, bro. Sorry. I'm going to say a lot of things I don't mean. If I think that they're funny, I'm taking a swing, dude. Fucking. All right, dude. You're from the Bronx originally, if I read that correctly?
Yes and no. I was born in a hospital in the Bronx and then raised in the neighborhood next to it called Yonkers.
Oh, I know Yonkers. Okay.
Yeah, so most people don't. Like, if I'm talking to someone that's not from New York, then I'll just say I'm from New York. And then if anyone happens to know what Yonkers is, I'll just say I'm from there. It's just one of those stupid things where, like, I was born here, but I was raised there.
It's just
like, New
easier
York
just to say New York.
Yeah, and New York City people get so stupidly territorial about it, where, like, if I say I'm a New Yorker and they hear it, they pop out of a fucking sewer cap and they're like, he's not a real New Yorker. I'm like, who fucking cares?
What pot?
Yeah.
Fucking Italian?
No. German, Irish, Scottish, and Welsh.
Okay, I was trying to figure out Jenkins. You're a mutt. Okay.
All
All
right,
right,
so I don't know. Genetically, fuck England. That's my.
Yeah. So, you know, some of you were on the right side of the war, some of you weren't. You know, so fuck it. All right, so you born and raised there. You still there now?
No. I'm in. I almost just said I'm in Manhattan. I was living in Manhattan for a few years. We just moved to Brooklyn like 2 weeks ago. So
Nice.
we're in Brooklyn. It's all the fucking same. I'm probably closer to Midtown than I was in my last Manhattan apartment. If that makes
Dude,
sense.
I have a rudimentary education on your geography, but that's it's I know you got 5 boroughs and Trump has a hotel. That's it, dude. You know?
He's got a few. It's funny because you see people. There's like a main one, and I could get into it, but aside from comedy, I also do like handyman shit. So I'm never in the same place twice. Like I go everywhere all over the city, and you would always see people. There's like his main hotel, like where he would live when he would visit Manhattan.
Yeah.
And then there's like 3 other ones that are all pretty close by, and you would see like people like walking by, like flipping off the wrong building, and I'm like, dude, I'm an idiot right now. Like, he's not in there.
This isn't a political show. I don't even vote, so I don't believe in any of that shit. But fucking, like, I remember seeing pictures of, like, they would have armed guards outside of his hotel and shit. It's fucking crazy.
Dude, it was wild. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think this would happen if any president had a residence in Manhattan. But I remember after he got elected, so his residence is like, if this means anything to you guys, is like 50-something Street and like 5th Avenue, which is like the bottom of like Central Park. It's like the thickest part of the city.
Is that
like,
what's it
from
called? Like
one end to the other.
Millionaires Row or some shit like that, or whatever.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's
Yeah.
called the Diamond District. It's a lot
Okay.
of jewelry, a lot of
Yeah.
money. Very, very nice. But
Him and the
it's
Jews.
very
I get it.
ton of traffic. I remember after he got elected, the Secret Service was coordinating with the NYPD. They were running like fake missions to like get their protocols in order for like if he's here and we got to get here, how do we do it? So like there would just be unmarked cars with lights in them, just
No
fucking
shit.
circling crazy. You're like, is there a bomb? What's going on? It was just
Holy shit.
Here's a wild story. Like I know y'all know who Mark Maron is, right?
Yeah.
So do you remember when he had Obama on his podcast? It was like a huge fucking deal. First president on a podcast. Anyways, they started Secret Service set up at his house like a month prior.
Yeah, there was. I think they joked about it. I only listened. I don't know if I listened to the whole thing, but I definitely listened to some bit of that. And I don't think he was joking. Where he was like, "There's a few snipers on a few roofs."
Yeah, on a few roofs. Yeah, that's what he talked about. But he talked about his shitter. Do you remember that part?
No,
Where he's
no.
he wasn't allowed to use the bathroom in his house, and if you did, Secret Service had to basically be right outside the door, because if the president used the shitter, it is hand taken out and put in a bag, because in case the terrorists wanted to get a hold of his shit, they could figure out if he's allergic to something or something.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Said it's fucking wild, dude.
Oh my god! That's not even- I almost feel like that's something they shouldn't tell us, because now it's like a thing that people know they could do. Like they're like, wait, we could find out what he's allergic to. Like, that's fucking crazy.
That's wild,
why, like,
right?
That's one of the reasons, and there's a lot, but that's one of the reasons there is no number high enough to pay me to be a fucking president. It's the worst.
Well, you'd also have to be.
I wouldn't want to do it.
You
either.
got to be a narcissistic piece of shit, which I am, but I still don't want that job. You know?
Listen, I like it. I always kind of wrestle with this like frame of mind. Like I like the finer things. Don't get me wrong. Like I like a fucking nice hotel. I like a nice car, or a fucking like a nice plane or something like that. But at the same time, I fucking hate it when people are like doting on me, like being waited on, having shit doors open for me, people saying you can come in, you can go out. Like
especially when there's like an older person, like a 60-something-year-old, waitress waiting on me, and I'm like, I feel bad for you.
Let me tell both of you something. Y'all are fucking crazy. I love it. I love it when people are fucking just giving me just all the love. I fucking love it. I fucking love
so
it.
much.
Dude.
Like to the extent that like I'm in Grand Central Station a lot. I don't know how much you guys know about that, but like there's like 4 different locations in Grand Central where people shine your boots or shoes.
Mm-hmm.
If you pick the black guy, you're terrible. If you pick the only black guy, you're terrible.
No, I think at this point it's all little Mexican women. At least what I walked past the other week. But but either way,
the times they are a changing. So
I can't do it. Man, I take my shoes to a fucking. I'm in a Polish neighborhood now in Brooklyn, and I take it to a Polish cobbler, and I'm like, clean these. I'll get them in a day. I don't care. But like, I won't.
That is something that's super endearing about New York City, right? Like you have like neighborhoods that are just like Houston's quote unquote the most diverse city. Like that's where I live, by the way. The most diverse city in the country, right? But there's only one area, which is Chinatown, which is like truly, Central Asia, right? Like it's everybody's all the goddamn street signs are in like scribbles and shit, right? Everywhere else, everybody lives together, right? We're all used to it. I mean, you got there are, every walk of life is represented in every neighborhood, except for one area. But in New York City, it seems like y'all have like Little Italy, and then you got Polish neighborhoods, and then
I would say probably 50 years ago, it was more organized like that, like I mean, it's not on purpose, but segregated like that.
Oh, it is, sir. Have you ever watched? I really love conspiracy theories, dude. God, do I love conspiracy theories? I watched this whole documentary about how they.
If you immigrate, you want to hang out with people that look.
Well, I watched this whole thing about how they fucked up Baltimore and moved all the blacks into like one central area.
I mean, Baltimore's kind of the South, not really, but
What?
It happened.
What?
It happened in where I'm from, in Yonkers. There's a whole show about it. I haven't watched it, but there's a whole show.
What is it? What's the show called? I'll watch it.
I think it's called Show Me a Hero, and it's about how like, because here's the weird thing about where I grew up. Yonkers it's a lot like the Bronx. I mean, parts of it anyway. I feel like parts of it feel very urban, very city like. Some parts are very suburban. It's got kind of everything. It's like Staten Island more than anything. But we had every kind of person growing up in my neighborhood except black people, which I thought was always so strange, because if it's all white people, you can kind of just, all right, whatever, that happens. But like my across the street neighbors are from Argentina. They're like my parents' best friends. Next door, we had people from the Philippines.
Oh, okay. So y'all are a bit more diverse there.
Oh yeah, but not a single black person on my block, in my school. We had Arabic people in our in my neighborhood that we were all friends with. Everyone got along, but it took me. I had to play football. With
that's
on a
terrible.
Team that
You're at
that's where I met black people.
You were playing on a team playing football with no black people?
No, that's where I met black people.
Oh, okay. I was about to say y'all had to have
Yeah,
a worse record, dude. It's like
No, that's been talking about that. How funny is that? The team I played on, it was me, my best friend at the time, who was basically demographically just me again.
Yeah.
And then like 50 black people. That was the whole team.
Well, you know what? You couldn't ask for a better record that year. I bet. You know, fucking.
Yeah, but they weren't in my school, so I have no idea. I don't know any of their names. I haven't caught up with them in 20 years or more.
I'm gonna guess one's Daquan, but that's just me. Where
Raekwon.
You knew that guy? Wasn't Raekwon in the goddamn Wu-Tang Clan? I think so. I think one of the members of Wu-Tang is named Raekwon. Anyways, think y'all are very dense populated. How the fuck? Where are your football fields?
Yonkers is, like I said, Yonkers is more like Staten Island, so it's a little more foresty. There's more space. There's not really tall buildings, and only one area is I would say that you could split it up into quarters. Only one quarter of it looks and feels like the Bronx. Like you couldn't tell the difference. It's just a bunch of like 6-story apartment buildings.
Oh, okay.
Where I grew up looks more like you remember the original Spider-Man movies
with Toby?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. His neighborhood in Queens looks a lot like where I grew up. Like it's houses, but they're not very big, very close together, but it's houses. So like, so every now and then there's a football field. It's not too hard to come by.
Are you a Marvel guy?
The movies, yeah. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I don't read the goddamn. I'm not a nerd either, but fucking the movies are fucking fire. Who's your favorite Spider-Man?
That's a good question. They've all done, and I know this sounds like a cop-out, they've all done well in different ways. I think the explanation that I've heard, I didn't formulate this opinion, but I heard that Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker, and then Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man, and then Tom Holland is pretty good at both, but he's not the best at either.
I really liked how he hit y'all's accent.
It's so good.
Nailed it. Isn't he an English dude?
Yeah, no, but it's not just that he's English. He's English, but to do American is one thing. But I heard some interview of a bunch of British actors about like what accents are the most difficult to do. And they said like some parts of the South and New York and like Chicago are like super difficult for them because there's things that's almost sound like their language that they're trying to like turn back off. I don't know. I don't know.
They have a hard time with like R's and shit. It ends up being an AH, right?
Yeah. So, but that's the thing with like some New York accents. Mine's probably not coming out right now, but
every now and then.
Hold on, you're an actor. You're an actor. You're an actor. What's your accents, dog?
What is it? Like my parents have really thick Bronx accents, but people in Queens, if they're younger, tend not to. Like my buddy from Queens, his accent probably isn't even as thick as mine, and that's exactly how Spider-Man.
You don't have a terrible accent. Like we've had some guests on from like Long Island and stuff, and goddamn, dog. God damn.
Long Island. You know what's funny though? My girlfriend's from Long Island and sounds like she never set foot on it. Like our first date, I was like, "You sure you're from Long Island?" Yeah. All right.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know accents very well, but man, she comes on like I'm talking about Nicole, and fucking she comes on and goddamn, dude, she that accent hits every once in a while. I can't even. I'm not an accent guy, but it's fucked up. You know.
Yeah, it's Long Island's a little specific. Long Island, Staten Island, and like parts of Brooklyn kind of sound a little separated. Long Island's a crazy place. It's
Long Island
it's
is
like
beach people, dude. It's beach people.
It's so cut off from the rest of New York. I did a few. This is gonna sound so much different than the reality of it, but I did a few summers in the Hamptons.
Oh Jesus, goddamn! You know Dave Portnoy? Yeah.
Well, let me just explain to make me not sound like how it sounds.
We don't give a fuck,
it would
dude.
be like me. No, because I know how it sounds. I knew how it sounded when someone pitched it to me, and then I showed up and I saw what it really is. So there's three Hamptons. There's West, East, and South. And the West Hampton's like the poor, like they're all more rich or less rich than the other ones. So
okay.
Like the really rich people go. That's I'm pretty sure East Hampton. West Hampton is where like new money people, like people that didn't grow up rich but got money in their life. That's where they go. And the houses are nice, but they're pretty close together. There's not like estates and like maids and shit.
Is that like?
But anyway, we go there.
What's the slavery history up there? I have to assume that there was a lot of that up there, huh? With those old plantation homes and shit.
I don't know about plantation. I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, what we were doing in the Hamptons is like literally 30 of us. I mean, literally 30 of us would get like a 2 or 3 bedroom house for the summer, and then like when you broke down how expensive it was divided by 30 people, you'd have access to a house for like $2,000 for the whole summer.
It's not terrible. Wow. That's not terrible. Yeah.
Lived in absolute squalor, like caught and probably am now immune to every disease. I still haven't gotten COVID.
Hell yeah, dude.
Me either.
So that's what it was. So like it sounds like this thing where like, oh my God, we're gonna go to the Hamptons. No, like we would go to the Hamptons and we knew the bartenders at every place we would go to. So we wouldn't really pay that much for anything. So like when you break down what I did every weekend, dollar for dollar, I'm pretty sure I saved money going to the Hamptons instead of
that sounds
every weekend. Like,
yeah.
I need to find a place like that. Goddamn.
As far as like plantations go, I definitely think they've done a good job of like erasing the visibility of that sort of thing. But there were some old houses that we stayed in where I was like, something tells me this house was built for free. If you know what I mean? I don't think.
Oh yeah, you're a handyman, right? So you're like, Yeah.
It is old. I do know there's a cool story. Well, it didn't end cool, but there's a story about a slave ship that was bound for the Americas that like I think they commandeered it and tried to steer back to Africa, but then they don't know how to do any of that stuff. So like the current just blew them onto Long Island and then they got captured there, I think. But that did happen.
God, you really brought this down, bro. I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you.
Well, I don't know what year it happened. So they might have been free when they got off the boat. I don't know, but that did happen.
1983. Again, they were headed towards. They were, dude. Have y'all ever? I should also apologize, Dave. Sorry, I have ADD like a son bitch. So if I just think of something, I'm gonna say it. But have y'all ever seen these? Have you ever seen these documentaries like Slavery Now, like in 2023?
I haven't seen it, but I'm vaguely aware that it's like still a thing in a few places.
Dude, like, it's bad, bro. Like you feel bad watching this shit. I low key. You can. You know what?
Watching it on YouTube.
Yeah,
Netflix or something.
YouTube.
Well, because I think it something that got mixed in with it. Like I feel like people roughly our age and older have a view of slavery as just like a farming thing, like labor, just like hard shit that no one wants to do that they made people do for free. But then now most of slavery, if I'm correct, is like sex slaves.
Oh no, so it's incorrect, sir. Incorrect.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's countries. They're primarily like in Africa and like the Middle East, but dude, just straight slave labor, bro. I mean, dude, Dubai was built using slave labor.
Yeah, Dubai and Qatar, like the whole stadium was built by slaves. Yeah, that's coming back.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy, bro. They call it something else. It's like indentured servitude and shit. It's slavery, you know.
It's definitely coercion. I mean, it might not be as like codified or like regulated as it was in America in the 1800s, 1700s, but like that's what they are.
Yeah, everybody thinks of slavery as like white and black, but dude, anybody can be a slave if you're in a bad enough situation, right? So it's like, yeah.
That's what I learned. I learned that in Gladiator.
No,
They were
yeah,
all just
yeah.
slaves.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. They weren't slaves because they looked a certain way. They just got caught and told to do stuff.
I just learned this. Josh, stop me if we've already talked about this on the show, but I just learned this recently. Like, the Native Americans had a lot of slaves, like a lot. Like whenever,
that's how it's. Yeah.
Whenever they went down the Trail of Tears, like a lot of them were like, "Yeah, we'll go, but you better fucking let us have our guys," you know.
The first. Oh God, how is it? How does this go? There's something like funny about the first. I think the first first person that freed themselves like legally, like they went through the process of it, became a pretty successful slave owner. Like, they went on to do it themselves. So.
Money fucking corrupts everybody, bro. For sure, bro.
Everyone had slaves, as long as it like. I don't know, made sense. I don't think anyone didn't have slaves. It wasn't until around the Civil War where people were like, oh, this is wrong.
Well, half of us were saying that. The other half were down here by me, and they're pieces of shit. So
I don't know that it was like, was it even ever illegal in Europe until, I don't know when, like England's one thing, but like, I don't know. I know it was happening in Brazil until 1888. That year is burned into my head. So. It's happening.
Fuck it. Do we have the entire world at our fingertips?
And we're all guessing.
We're just like, you know what? I kind of do like it though, because actually, you said you're 29. Fucking, you're probably on the ass end of remembering pre-internet.
Yeah, I think about that all the time. I feel like the internet developed in sync with me, where like when I was born in '93. It existed, but no one knew or cared about it. And then like by 98, 99, you could do something with it. Nothing crazy. By like 05, you could do some cool stuff.
We were MySpacing and shit. Yeah.
And then by like 2012 and on, it's been what it is.
MySpace.
Putting all those viruses on your computer with LimeWire.
LimeWire and MySpace changed the game, dude.
Dude, we had to like, we're like in a weird, I don't know if you guys ever had to do this, but like you had to like code your own profile.
Yeah. But
did
did you ever overcode it to where your friends couldn't even open your page? It would just freeze up because there was too fucking much.
Probably,
I did that.
Yeah, like the passing messages, and then like the song would start, and then it would take a picture of you. And
the fucking the mouse is a different thing, and all this shit. Like anybody who was on my tax bracket in those days, which was nothing, couldn't even open up my MySpace page. Fucking maybe Tom. Maybe Tom could do it.
It's funny though, thinking about like some of the people I grew up with that were like really girly girls, in a traditional good people, but just very girly girls, knew how to fucking code. Like they were writing fucking, like they could probably make a video game if they wanted to. Like they knew how to code better than I did because they cared so much about how their page looked.
This will blow your goddamn mind.
It stopped being necessary. It's all out of them. But like they knew it. They really knew it.
This will blow your goddamn mind. My kid's 12, right?
Oh wow.
She has a. She said, "Oh wow, you procreated? What the fuck?" He's like, "You have another one of you?" No.
Oh dear.
But when I got home tonight, she's working on her final project for her computer class. The whole thing is her building a video game. That's her final test. So that's what she's working on. I mean, I built all my computers myself. I'm a low-key nerd, but like I taught her how to build a computer from scratch. We built it together and shit, and fucking now she's in there programming video games. It's wild, dude. It's fucking wild.
I wouldn't even call it nerdy because like, I mean, maybe in like 2000.
Yeah, as a child of the 90s, I was making fun of the nerds. Now I wish I was one of them because I'd be running this goddamn country.
I feel like the ability, like you just telling me that you built your own computer. I'm reacting to that as if you told me you built your own car. Like I'm just like, well,
it's so easy. Just it's 3 or 4 YouTube videos, and then you're like, okay, now I just got to figure out the specs I want. I've learned everything on YouTube.
One of my buddies basically did exactly that. Like, I don't think he was ever into it growing up. And then somewhere at the end of college, he just like learned how to do it. And then like, he's the last person you would expect to be like a techie. But like when you walk into his room in his house, like it's not unlike yours, to be honest. There's like the neon lights and like his hard drive has like fans with lights inside them. And
That's what
like
I wish I used to have it up here, but it was the distraction on the screen. But you're describing my computer. It's silly.
Yeah, it was like glass. There was a fucking aquarium in it. There was fish in it doing ecstasy. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, well, I miss ecstasy. You kids nowadays got the goddamn Molly, and I never got to try that. You a drug guy? Partier?
Sort of. I was always weird with it because I smoked weed like in like 6th grade for a while, and then realized I hated it when I started drinking, which was like 8th grade. And then I'll try weed probably once a year, and every time I still hate it.
Really?
I just can't.
See, I'm the opposite. If they would legalize it here, I would probably quit drinking tomorrow.
Oh, it's very interesting. But they just legalized it in New York like a year ago. So now all the pop-up, I shouldn't even call them pop-up shops, actual stores
Yeah.
with like storefronts are selling weed like with like a marijuana symbol, and it's like, oh, like Mary Jane.
You don't have to go into the real shady bodegas that got like 50-year-old products on the shelves and shit.
yeah, they're just very well lit, and everyone's nice, and they sell weed.
That's fucking awesome. I went to whenever I think it was the year before the pandemic, so 2019 maybe. I went to LA and I went to my first dispensary, and it made me think of that movie. What's the Dave Chappelle movie? The pop movie. God damn it.
Half baked.
Yeah, it made me think of that. Where he's like, "Damn, do you go to weed college?" And that's what it is, dude. These motherfuckers, like, they want to talk to you about like how it's gonna make you feel. I'm like, no, just that one right there. It's in my price range. Just give me that. You know.
It's like the different kinds of tea you see in like the grocery store, where it's like, this is for if you have a sore throat, and this is for if you just want to like detox. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
where the fuck's the Lipton, bitch? Like, like, are you a tea guy?
I like green tea. That's about it. And,
Okay.
And I take that back. I don't like it. I just know it helps.
Okay, so it's for health reasons. Okay, I get that. Have you ever
Yeah.
met somebody that's like into tea?
My parents, oddly enough, I never really realized how atypical it is, but my parents, they drink, but they never drank at home ever. Like,
Really?
like we had booze, but they would only have it to like bring it somewhere else, like as a gift or something. But they never drank in the house. Neither of them smoke cigarettes. Neither of them drink coffee, and they just drink tea. That's just how they just love it.
What?
But I never got into it.
They had
tried it a
no
few times.
vices at all?
I know. Well, I don't know if I should say that. Well, fuck it. I think my dad likes weed when he's,
Oh, that's
on
not
vacation.
bad. Okay, I mean, dude, it's getting
but they-
normalized.
no,
It's
they
normalized, you know.
drink.
Yeah.
Like at lunch, or not lunch, Jesus, at dinner or barbecue or something, they'll drink, but it's just never like
Social drinking.
Yeah, but there was never like a casual beer at home. Like, that was alien to me.
I have
so
a hard time trusting nobody with a vice. So I'm glad he had at least a little fun thing he would do
No,
on
they got
his own.
something.
Yeah.
I know when they were my age. I think they're pretty reasonable about it. Where like, I think my mom used to be a pretty, not wild, but just like, she drank. And,
Yeah.
I think when she was a kid, she was like, all right, I gotta clean it up. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, I had my
Shit, not me. Shit, I drink more now.
Yeah. I had my parents on the podcast separately, one for Mother's Day, one for Father's Day, just so I could have that later in life. I got,
Oh, yeah.
I have them record.
That's awesome.
But I was really hoping they would open up because I've heard stories about them that were fucking wild. But now my
Yeah.
dad's a pastor and he's just not like willing to give up all those stories,
I know. I have a unique position to squeeze out some of those stories because here's where they come from. My parents got married when they were 25, but didn't have my oldest sister until they were 30, and they lived in the
Pull
house I
out
grew
game
up
is strong. Dude, your dad's a goddamn Jedi. Fuck
in.
it.
5 years. They lived in the house I grew up in and didn't have kids, so they just had parties all the fucking time. And I've heard bits and pieces of some stuff, and I'm like, oh, I guarantee one of my cousins was probably conceived in the room I grew up in. Like,
How much would it fuck you up to find out your parents were like swingers or something? Would that fuck you up?
I know. You know what's weird? I think finding out just that fact would be okay. But if I knew who,
Oh, that would weird you. Turns out Uncle Jake is your dad. You know.
Yeah. No, I don't like. I could live with the fact because they're happy, they're together. So like, I could live with the fact that like, fuck it, that's what it takes for them to make it work. Then go crazy. Abstractly, I can handle that. If someone was like, no, they do that, and here's who, I'd be like, I don't.
Stop.
So this has come up 1,000 times on this show, but like I've always talked about this, like the idea of, because I've been married 13 years, right? The idea of swinging sounds awesome until there's some dude railing your wife 2 feet away from you and she's making a noise you've never heard before. And you're like, oh, come on. Come on.
There's so many like unwritten rules. There's so many ways someone could piss you off that you can't foresee, and then they would do it, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
was that?
exactly.
Like,
it's not worth it.
You're trying to fall flag. Like, no, that's not.
You gotta be like super close, bro. There's no
the only way I think it could work is if it's not spouses. If you're just like in college, like one of my buddies in college told me, like right before college, like the summer going into college, him, his girlfriend, and then their friends that were a couple, they were all in a jacuzzi, and I think they all just like swapped, and like they said they had. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's no
I
like
can only do that knowing I'm not gonna marry that.
Half your shit's not involved, like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, so something we definitely got to touch on is, dude, you've done comedy around the world, bro.
I mean, the English speaking world.
That's pretty well, I mean, goddamn Scotland, dude. That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
What's that like? What are those drunk bastards like?
They're really cool. Scotland was interesting, but I did it more in London, and I did it a couple times in Dublin, in Ireland.
And that's what I meant to say was Ireland. Ireland, the crazy bastards.
Yeah, no, they were great. I mean, I think it's tough to gauge because where I did it in London and in Ireland were very, very tourist-centric places. So like, I think I asked both times, or I knew from listening to the show where other comedians asked, but like more than half of the people in the crowd were visiting from other countries. They were just there for a few days. So it's not really like an Irish crowd. It's not like walking into some like backcountry saloon. Dude, and like,
hold on. Like, you're really playing yourself down. Do you know how dope it is to fucking be in another goddamn country and you're there for comedy? You know how dope that is?
No, listen, it's great. It's awesome. I mean, I think one of the greatest things I realized, at least about the way I do it, was like literally every joke hit. So I didn't have to rely on, or I learned I didn't have to rely on like super local references or anything like that. So the American comedy does kind of translate over quite a bit. Yeah, and I think, I mean, also, I don't really do. I'm more conversational on stage. I don't really like. I'm not that theatrical and like pull the rug out from under you. Like I'm just trying to talk and like say what's on my mind. But
have you ever fucked a stool?
No, it's not in me.
There's a lot of people do, and I didn't realize till not that long ago that that's like looked down upon.
That basically doing. I mean,
you're gonna have to explain that one to me.
Other people are going to use it. So like, if you put like, there's people where like they put the mic, or they'll pantomime putting the mic like up their ass for whatever reason. But like sometimes they make contact. I'm like, dude, I got to talk into that. I've seen people put the mic in their mouth because they're like mimicking doing a blowjob or something. I'm like, dude, you're not the only one here. This isn't your special.
I've never thought about that because I'm always laughing at the joke, but I didn't think about the next person in line. God damn.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if it's your Netflix special, go crazy. No one else is using the microphone. You probably brought it from home, but like, but you can't do it at like a showcase show where there's like 8 or 10 of you and you all gotta follow. It's just not cool.
We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to the Ireland shit. But like during the pandemic, were you doing any outside shows or anything? Were you like showing up with your own mic?
Sort of. Yeah, I never showed up with my own, but I did. So for like 3 months, the first 3 months of it were like the craziest part. Like I was in the Poconos in Pennsylvania with my family.
So you fled town, huh?
Because I could. The timing was so crazy. Like if my parents told me I could go to the house we grew up in, I'd say fuck off. It's the same size as the apartment I'm in right now. Like, there's no change. But because my mom's retired, like my parents are kind of at the end of their career, so they have all this fucking money, and they just bought a house in the Poconos like 2 months before the pandemic really took off, or a couple months, whatever.
Did you grow up well off?
No, it was
Okay.
painfully middle class.
Okay, so that's
not,
perfect then. Isn't it weird as soon as you move out, somehow your parents have fucking money? Because that's what happened to me. I'm like, what the fuck? We were eating hamburger helper every goddamn day, and it's all of a sudden you're fucking pimping, you know? Just like...
They're interesting with how they spend their money, because they're not very they're not gaudy. Like, they don't have any they don't give a shit about like fancy clothes or like cars or anything like that. Like, they have sensible, functional things, and then I guess that paid off, because then now they also have a house that they just put fucking down in cash. so they had this house, and the house is like literally 2 or 3 times the size, because it's in the Poconos. Who the fuck wants to live there? But they had all this space, and they're like, "You want to come?" And I was like, "Sure." And they're like, "Cool. You're in New York City right now, so like you can get here in 3 days, or you can't come at all." And I was like, "I'll be there in 12 hours."
What state? What state was this in?
The Poconos. It's in Pennsylvania. It's like it's not Philly. It's like, oh, actually, you know where it's really close to? You know Scranton, where the office.
Oh yeah. Where it's based out of, but not
there.
filmed.
It's
Yeah.
like right there. So it's like 2 hours from New York
Do you know
City.
how bummed out I was to find out they didn't actually film in Scranton?
Yeah, almost none of it.
None of it. I think it's just that fucking. I don't even think that office, the fucking, the office front is in Vegas. My buddy lives in LA. He took a picture in front of it. I was like, God damn, they fucked me on everything here.
Yeah, probably.
But okay, Ireland, dude. Did you ever go out drinking with the patrons?
Oh God, yeah.
What's
well,
that
first,
like?
so let me just go back to the comedy part. The only joke they didn't get, which the joke involved like a play on words, but I needed the punchline is gated community, like gated. They don't know what that is, and that was my opener in America for like a year.
Oh shit.
So the first joke I told in London just fell flat. I was like, "What the fuck?" And then everything else was fine, like jokes about like my family and stuff like that, and going.
How do you react to that? Because I know me, and I don't have the balls to get on stage to actually do stand up, right? So like, I would just be like, "Is this? Hey, motherfuckers, is this thing on? Hello."
It's always weird because you're never. I almost never go first. So like. I mean, even if I did, the host is up there for a while. So like you gauge the audience by what the host and the comics before you were doing and what you're getting away with, what they're not getting away with. So you feel like you have a pretty good idea of like, all right, well, I know my jokes and this should be fine. And the joke is not offensive. If anything, it's the opposite, but it could be, if you suck, it could be, taken that way. But no, it's just a play on words, and they don't know what a gated community is. That's not like what they call it. So it's like using elevator and lift. Like they were like, what? And I was like,
oh, dude, I forgot it. Dude, do you have to do research before you go over there to like look up like what their term? Do you change your comedy to say, instead of elevator, do you say lift? Do you change your fucking comedy?
No, because they know. They watch it only. That's really a one-way street where we don't know their lingo as well as they know ours.
Gotcha.
They know ours because it's in movies. They just know it. Like even my accent isn't really funny to them because they've heard it a million times.
Right.
Like we're way less weird than they are to us. like everything I could say, they've heard it, so they don't really need explanation.
One of my new favorite guys to watch right now, and I think he's gonna be something, is Colin Terrell. Do you know who he is?
Colin Terrell? No, I don't think so.
He's an Irish dude, and he's hanging out with all the Gas Digital people and shit recently. I saw them at Skankfest. I saw him at Skankfest, I should say. Dude, fucking, like, he's gonna be something, but he's straight from Ireland. Like, he hasn't been here very long. He's goddamn funny, bro. So you should peep him out for sure.
They do well. There's a few Irish and Scottish and English comics that I know in the city, and they do well. And if they don't do well, it's not because they're not being understood. It's because the joke sucked.
Right.
It's not a mistranslation of whatever's going on. But no, they were really cool. They got everything. They played ball. They weren't, uptight about anything, I don't think. And they were really cool. And I remember it was about going out with them, like in Ireland, at least, and I guess a little bit of England, their pubs have a lot of like live music, but in a way that there's not like a stage. It's not very formal. Like they're kind of sitting in a booth that if they weren't there, other people would just be sitting in the booth drinking.
But it's still a vibe.
With like guitars and mics, and they're playing like the ring with the bells on it, and they're just playing instruments. It's really cool. So the bar I did in the club I did in Ireland is above International Bar, which is like a very popular touristy bar.
Right.
After the show, I was just down there for like 2 hours, just fucking watching people sing. One guy, I don't know if this is going to translate on a podcast. It might have been you had to be there, but I'm already talking about it. But one guy was like playing guitar for a while. He was really good, and then he like passed it off to one of his friends because his friend knew the next song better, and he didn't have an instrument, so he just put on his sunglasses and then started playing a piano that wasn't in front of him, like he was blind.
That's
like,
hilarious.
And he like really knew, like he like I think knew that it was fucking. The funny thing.
Do you remember that band, The Offspring? Do you remember that band, The Offspring?
What's up?
The band, The Offspring.
The Offspring.
Am I breaking up?
Oh, I don't know. I'm shit with remembering music. Like I know what I like, but I can't.
Well,
I have no catalog.
they were crazy popular. Come out, Pretty Fly for a White Guy. That song. Okay, that band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They paid a dude to be in the band, and all he did was dance on stage. That's what that reminds me of. He's just up there, just the whole hour and a half show just going off. Like how that dude fucking kept the energy. It was crazy to me.
I love that. Have you ever seen it's been common in the last couple of years where there's sign language interpreters at like rap concerts.
Yes.
And they're just like saying like fucked up shit. Upper woman and like
who was that one rapper that like thought that she was dancing
Yeah.
while she was signing the sign? He thought she was dancing. He was like, "Oh yeah, go." She was really signing for
it. He was just like signing the same two words.
Yeah.
Like, what's up?
I'm sure 1,000 comedians have done this, but I've seen a few videos of like the comedians that had to have like a interpreter there, and they're just like, "What's blowjob?" and shit like that, just like.
Ooh, yeah, I've never seen that. I do know. I don't know if it happened in New York or somewhere else, but there was a lady who got. I don't know how she got past the clearance and all the fucking red tape that would be involved in this.
Oh, tell me it was that lady for the president or something.
It might have been. Well, no, that was the second one. There was one in America where she didn't know a lick of sign language and just was interpreting on TV, just
freestyling. Hell yeah, dude.
And then it took like 2 seconds for deaf people to be like the Leo DiCaprio meme, what? And then she got fired. But no, that was crazier in Africa.
Yeah.
The president was, I think, our president. I don't know which one at the time, but they were giving a speech, and there was someone next to him that doesn't know sign language. That was just
fucking going,
just doing a clip walk or something. I don't know. And then, but that's scary because, like, she could have had a gun.
Because the person that interviewed them did not know sign language, so they're like, "Oh, cool, you know how to. All right, you're good."
Okay, now I gotta look this up. Do y'all hear that little ding whenever I do something? Or is that just in my speakers? Okay, good. All right. For some reason, if I don't touch my mouse for a minute and then I move it, my computer's like, "Hey, you have a mouse." Yeah, bitch. Fucking. Okay. How long do you think sign language has been around?
I mean, informally forever, but probably like if we like the formal American Sign Language, probably I would say like 1820 something, roughly.
Before that, dog. God damn.
Really?
God damn. I thought back in the 5th century BC they just drowned him in a river.
I thought that was the 1700s.
Well, this says 17th century is the first time visual language or method of communication, although references form blah blah. So 17th century is what we're going to go with. But we had one chance to make a universal sign language, and we fucking didn't do it. We didn't fucking do it.
That bothers me all the time. I think, like, I don't know how you would implement this, but I think literally every person should speak sign language, and not for the benefit of people that can't hear or speak, but for everybody. Like, how easy would it be? Like, have you ever been in a fucking a crowded bar where your friend's at the entrance and you're in the back and you're trying to tell them something quick and easy, like, I just do this. Just do this. Meet me at home at 10 o'clock. I'm fine. Bye. Like, if you could just do that.
I know she's fat, but it's cool. That type of shit.
no, fucking anyone. Like, while you're hugging her from behind.
She says she gives good blowjobs. So
the utility of it is so it's infinite. And like, I mean, granted, like, we'd probably be cheating in school forever.
For sure. I wouldn't
That
have
might
to
be the
sit
end.
next to the Asian kid like I always did, you know? That's all I did in school. If there's an Indian or an Asian, start of the year, right there. I don't have to study at all now. Again.
They rotated our seats a lot in school. I think every quarter they made us. They didn't tell. We couldn't sit where we wanted. We had to like go.
I always had to sit at the front. You know why? Because they go, Burley, you don't have an inside voice. And I don't. I mean, I have a collection. I'm gonna post it one of these days. I have a collection of report cards that says he lacks being able to talk in a quiet setting. Dude, you know how crazy that is? Like I can't. I have no idea how to be quiet. I'm here, motherfuckers. Let's go.
Before you came to my house, you texted me and said, my wife wants to apologize for me.
Yeah.
To apologize to your wife for being so loud. And you weren't even here yet.
Yeah. So Josh lives in Alabama, so I traveled, 8 hours to go to your house? Fucking, yeah, that's what I have no inside voice, dude. I'm just loud, bro. Just loud.
You sound kind of fine now. Obviously, I know there's tech walls.
Well, I'm also toning it down because I'm trying
He has his volume turned down.
Yeah. I have it toned down a bit. Okay, so you said you did shows in England?
Yeah, London.
Okay.
A couple of them,
So especially London. The London comedy I've found, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because you've lived it. Their comedy seems to have a theme. Like if they're gonna
each show or just anyone up there.
No, you're gonna repeat jokes, right? Like every show is your jokes, right? But there's almost a theme to it. Everything kind of runs together. It's not like America where you could do joke and then change subject to joke and then.
It's all like about one cohesive thing.
I've looked into it with a few different comedians, and there are a few outliers, like what's his name, Jimmy Carr and shit like that. But I don't even know if I can't tell if he's Australian or English. I'm not sure, but
he's English. I don't know. That's the kind of if I noticed that, I would have noticed it in a day. So I've never seen that. I would say they are more rehearsed and a little more theatrical. Like they really they kind of don't riff and they don't fuck around.
Okay.
Where some American comics thrive that way. Like they really know what they want to say.
Not a lot of crowd work and shit like that.
Maybe it's a lot of crowd work. I don't know if this is pulling the curtain behind.
No, that dude. We've talked about this. Fun fact: it seems like I go through my reels, like I was telling you earlier, and if I think somebody's funny, I'm just let's hit them up. Apparently, I like only New York comedians. So if you look at the history of people that have been on the show, and goddamn, we're booked for the next 4 months. It's all New York comedians. So
I would say New York comedy is. It's actually a little bit more like London than probably the rest of America, where in New York you're only gonna get up for 5, maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So you have to you gotta capitalize. Every 8 to 12 seconds you gotta be saying something that someone thinks is a joke. So you really gotta be just fucking rapid fire.
Yeah.
I think
that's what I like, and I think also. I think you guys on the East Coast are a bit more raw and understand me and Josh's humor more than at least, we've had some Austin comedians on, which are LA 2.0, and then LA comedians are just
Yeah, I've never heard a good thing about LA comedy. Everyone I hates LA, so I don't want to be there.
You could be the next Chris D'Elia, dude.
The next Avenger, I'm never moving there.
What's your age range? Because Chris D'Elia is gone now, so there's a hole that needs to be filled. So did you see that documentary?
No, I know what he's accused of or caught doing.
Did you see the new documentary that just came out?
No.
He never quit, dog. He never quit. All through his canceling, he never stopped, and these broads were recording every call, bro.
Oh, he never stopped. I thought you meant doing comedy. He never stopped fucking being an idiot.
Being an underage fucking groper. Yeah, dude, it's wild.
It's one of those things where I've seen him in You, and I've seen him in Workaholics, and like, does he offer to play those roles, or do people know about him and they're like, hey, I got a role for you?
I don't. I think
It might not be hard to play.
whatever that wasn't he. Which one of those shows that you just mentioned was he like a pedophile?
So he was it's, I don't want to rank, but like a legit pedophile, like child pedophile in Workaholics. His name on like his whole thing was he was Bieber Hole 69.
That's what it was. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, so like my wife was watching another show. She definitely didn't watch Workaholics, but he played a similar role, right?
Yeah. So it was probably you.
Yeah,
you know,
that most
you.
likely. And I think it was just a wild ass coincidence because
I don't know.
you know.
He played in You. He played an LA comedy person that was very. I don't think he played a famous stand-up, but he played like an improv leader. I don't know how much or how familiar you guys with improv, but it's
very,
group
dude.
of people ever. They're the most exhausting people to hang out with. Anyway.
Whoa! Hold on, you can't just pass over that, dude. Come on. So like the Upright Citizens Brigade and shit, like is that in New York as well?
Say again?
The Upright Citizens Brigade, the one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I when I started doing stand-up, I took all their classes for improv and sketch writing, and what I immediately found out was the people in sketch writing, I like them so much more, and the people in improv.
Was your next step theoretically like SNL, like you wanted to try out or some shit like that, or like?
I would say I approached it like this, where especially the first year of comedy, I considered like college, where you have to pick a major by the end of it. So like I just did everything at once. So like the first week I did an open mic was also the first week I started improv classes, and then like a month later I started sketch writing. By the end of that year, I'd done most of the classes. I'd done a bunch of shows for stand-up and stuff like that, and I just like chose stand-up as my major. That's just what I liked the most. But
there's a major?
No, that's just my.
Okay. You confused the fuck out of me just then. I went,
no,
hold on, I can go to school for this.
No, I never took like stand-up classes.
My professor is Don Rickles. Fucking.
Yeah, but improv, you do have to like learn. And sketch writing, there's a little bit of rules and stuff like that.
Sketch writing seems like it'd be more fun than the improv people, because you just got a yes and they would get annoyed with me real fast because I'd be like, yes, and my dick is inflamed or something crazy.
They were just very. I remember like kind of almost in that vein. It was so innocent. Two people were doing a scene, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, that's my boss back there. She's such a fucking bitch." And then the teacher of the class, like stopped the scene. He was like, "I hate it when people use that word." And I was like, "Get me the fuck out of this room!" Like, Jesus, you have to play. Let the kids play. Like they don't even know what they're saying. They're making it up as they go along. It wasn't even a sexist thing. It was just like, my boss sucks, and I made her a woman because some women are bosses. Like it was like that.
Oh, okay.
It was that bothered me so much. And then another thing with improvisers, we were doing. I don't know. I was talking to one of them, and I mentioned. I think it was. This is gonna sound so stupid, but I mentioned like you guys ever like if you brush your tongue like when you're brushing your teeth, do you ever like have like a gag reflex?
Hold on, we're from the South. Yeah. What is brushing? What is that? We're from the South. I don't know.
Brushing?
No, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. If you don't have a gag,
not gross.
If you have a gag reflex as a fella, it's good. Yeah.
So I was telling one of the girls, like, if you don't want the gag reflex when you're brushing your tongue, like you pull down your thumb and it makes the gag reflex go away. Something. And I mentioned that my toothbrush was like plastic or something, like the plastic hit the ground. And she looked at me like she was reprimanding me. She goes, "Your toothbrush is made of plastic. Like it was supposed to be made of bamboo or wood or something." And like as if I was the devil for having a plastic product.
Low key. In the South, that is.
I shut down. I was like, I can't talk to you.
In the South, it's in writing. You can look up our legal records, but you're allowed to hit a woman at that point. So just.
I wasn't even mad. I was just like, I felt like I was talking to someone that like had like two personalities, and I'm like, oh, I'm talking to someone else now. Like it was just a nowhere conversation where I'm like, I can't believe, and I don't even think they really think it. They were just so performatively correct because they're not. So here's the thing: the difference what I learned is stand-ups and sketch writers or anyone that writes comedy. those are people that are funny and they have to get it out.
Yeah.
Improvisers, what I learned and had no idea until I started learning all of it. Improvisers are theater kids with too much energy that were never funny, but they really, really want to be. And
Dude,
man,
that's the perfect definition, dude. That makes sense.
They're like camp counselors. They're like, oh my God. And then like writers of comedy and stand-ups are like the people that like hear, like they see the camp counselor and they're like, oh my God, how do we fucking get out of this camp?
They take direction well as where you pave your own road.
Yeah, I hate being told what to do. But my
Exactly. I mean, we're kind of getting into the weeds of the main show here, but who's your guys?
For stand-up?
Yep.
Louis, Bill Burr, Tom Segura, Richard Pryor, George Carlin. God, there's so many. John Mulaney. I'm very interested to see his next special.
Mulaney is hit or miss with me, but I think he's a genius because of his. Didn't he do a lot of Simpsons shit?
He did a lot of. I don't know about the Simpsons.
I think he did some Simpsons shit.
He wrote a lot of. He was a writer on SNL for a while.
I knew that, but I think he did some Simpsons shit. Him and Conan. Both of them did Simpsons and fucking yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And then God, there's so many comedians. Yeah, whoever I named is pretty good in my book. And then there's so many people I want to see and just haven't. It's so much of a commitment to sit down for an hour.
No, yeah. Well, also like I'm at the point now where if I watch a special, I will somehow subliminally regurgitate one of their jokes as my own on this show, and I have to watch myself. Yeah, like so. How does that work for a goddamn comic?
I think in the first couple of years, I think other people had a similar experience where we didn't watch any specials unless it was like our favorite person. You wouldn't watch comedy because you were so afraid of like making a joke that you subliminally heard from another person.
Yeah.
But since then I've just grown up and who gives a shit? Because I've seen two specials come out from two comics I love in the same year where they both talk about the same thing, and it doesn't matter. They're not telling the same
dude, we are all in for probably the next 2 to 3 years of people dropping like big names dropping specials, and it all be pandemic talk. We are in for that.
Yeah, that. I mean, even just like I think what I was just talking about was in the same year or two, Tom Segura came out with a special and Louis came out with a special where they talk about the word retard and like, well, let's talk about it. And they have their bits about it. And I don't even think they have the same opinion. They didn't have the same stories. So like I felt the same way where I was like, I want to tell some jokes about how I feel about that. And then I see them do their special. I'm like, well, that topic's dead. But then I saw the other one and I was like, well, maybe it's not dead.
There's still something to touch on anything, dude. It's just all your mind frame. Yeah.
All of these people. So it's like, you could still talk about stuff.
Legit underrated comedian who's been in the game forever, dude, is Bobby Kelly. I fucking love that guy. He's so goddamn funny, and nobody ever talks about it. Him, we had our first guy, 2 or 3 weeks ago, Josh, with Doug Stanhope. I'm a Stanhope fan till I die, dude. You know,
he's great too.
You know, he's top 3 for me. Him, Burr, and fucking Louis. But yeah, dude, like Bill, what's it called? Stanhope fucking. The way he says shit just sounds like it's coming off the top of his head. His cadence is solid. You know it's rehearsed, but his cadence is fucking solid, dude.
Yeah, but he also is, I mean, just in real life, he is kind of a loose cannon. Like,
he's that guy.
No one knows what's going to happen. Like, he really, like, there are some people that are just, they give off that vibe of, like, they're conversational and they're cool on stage. And then you see, like, how type A and fucking, like, wound they are. And you're like, oh, that's kind of an act. I'm pretty sure Stanhope is just fucking crazy. Like he
is a wild. I met him, and he was a normal dude. His old lady, Bingo, is a wild broad. Dude. But, she's wild. But before we get into the meat of the show, real quick, can you get your plugs? We usually do it earlier, and it slipped my mind. We were having too much fun. So, where can people find you? This is going to come out in 2 weeks. So, if you have dates in that area, fun fact. just learned this in the last few days, and I double checked the numbers. Number one fucking demographic for our show, New York. Fun fact. Yeah. Texas is number 2 by not even close. It's weird. So if you got any local shows, dude, fucking toss them out there.
Yeah, fuck. I'm such a visual person. I should have memorized this.
Are they on your website? We'll pull them up. Fuck it. Are they on your website?
No, they're not on my website. I've been in a very weird phase. Like I said, I've been moving and it's been Christmas. So
okay.
I've been cooling it for a while. I feel like I'm in this is my 7th year of doing stand-up, and I've gotten to a point, if you asked me like a year ago, I would have been like, I found my voice and I got it. I'm just building material. And like in the last 6 months, I've quietly been hating a lot of my jokes.
Well, check it out, dude. I will say this. And Josh can attest to this, is you're in your 20s and you're doing well. You're doing well, dude. We've talked to people in their 40s doing stand-up in your same area, and you know who these people are. I'm not going to mention their names, but they're still doing open mics in their 40s, right? So, like you're doing well, sir.
I mean, I was just thinking you've already gone across the world.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the thing is, like, the jokes are kind of like a puzzle where, like, you could figure out a joke as long as you perform it right, it's gonna do well. I think I figured that out in like the first 2 years, but your taste develops so much, and like I'm kind of shitting on what I said as soon as we started, but like, you know how I said your brain stops developing at 25?
Yeah.
I feel like I got to a point like 1 or 2 years ago where every joke I told, and I'm proud of it, like I've worked on them, I tested them out, I rewrote them, I made them work the way they should be told, but they just stopped sounding like me. And it's kind of like, it's kind of torture to do jokes that you don't want to do. And like when they do well, you almost get even more mad where you're like, fuck you, audience, you don't know what's funny. Like, well, it's so stupid. So I've
think about how a band feels. Think about how a band feels. Think about how a band feels. Yeah. All they got are these songs, bro. At least you can go up there and riff, you know? And
it could be, it's probably so shitty for like a band to like have to do the hits live.
Yeah, that's all you got.
The new stuff that they've been working on. So the last like couple of months I haven't been doing as many shows on purpose because I've been trying to like give myself permission to like not start over, but like throw away a lot of stuff that I would consider like my best stuff, because I don't want to keep doing it for the next couple of years, because it's just not me anymore, and that's fine.
Don't throw the best stuff away. You got a special coming up. You got to make a special, dude. Yeah. You got to.
I have what's tricky though is I do like, I mean, this isn't a plug, but I got booked to do like a private show in like, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Hell yeah.
Like Valentine's Day.
Corporate.
And that's going to be like an hour, which is a lot of stuff. But I'm almost regretting doing it because I know I'm going to have to do a lot of the jokes that like, listen, they're worked on well. They're technically speaking, they work, but I just am like sick of telling them. And I just kind of want to like Phoenix myself and just burn it all down and then come back and do whatever. It's a fucking process.
The short
answer is I'm working on making my own show to like do live every month. I just haven't gotten there.
Dude, you could do a Twitch, you could do YouTube, dude. You're fucking funny, bro. You got, dude.
I love doing shit. I love hanging out. I love making sketches, and I want a podcast so bad. I just
it's easy.
I've been so in my head about shit.
It's easy, dude. You just gotta be, you're already drinking out of a bottle like a grown up. Fucking, we could, fucking. If anytime you want to be on this show, god damn it, you're welcome, dude. We can go 2 weeks in a row. I don't give a fuck. This is at a party, so fucking. But like corporate gigs pay better, anyways, huh?
If you go through an agency, I go through a website, so I just make up numbers and just see what happens. Like,
just throw them out, you go. Yeah.
I've been quoted as like literally just different by like a whole zero. Like, just who knows? I don't know. I might get paid $100. I might get paid $1,000. I don't know what's gonna happen. So it's all over the place.
Well, I mean, dude, you got to think you're making money through a hole in your face.
Yeah, no.
How crazy is that? How crazy is that?
It's the most rewarding thing, and especially when you do it privately, you're the only person that goes up on stage. So like, even if you do well in a show where a bunch of other people were on it, yeah, you did well, but you're comparing yourself like, oh, that person sounded like they got more or whatever. But like when you're the only person, you're so much. It's more enjoyable to just fucking be yourself with the crowd, because you're not comparing yourself, and not even in like a talent way, just in like a oh, the last guy before me, he was a lot like me, so maybe I should focus on the areas that aren't like him, and we'll talk about this and talk about that. But when you're the only guy, it's so much fun. It's the best thing.
Well, dude, at least let people know where to find you. Because that's how I found you. I was going through goddamn reels. Your reels are goddamn hilarious. So
I think I put it in the name under here, but it's if there is a social media that I'm on, the name of it is at Real Dave Jenkins.
Yeah, so the YouTube is a fairly new thing. So we've only got, I don't know, not a whole lot of people going, but we have so many listening audio wise, right? So the YouTube, so drop it, yeah.
At Real Dave Jenkins. There's no it's all one word, Real Dave Jenkins. I found that on Twitter like 10 years ago, and I was like, holy shit, my name's pretty common. It's almost like John Smith. So the fact that I could get the real is insane.
That's solid, yeah. I Googled your name just now, and I had to type in comedian afterwards. Like, who's this lawyer in fucking Ohio? Dude,
what's even crazier is my dad has the same name as me, and he doesn't show up. I don't know if he's been scrubbed from the internet, but he's not on it. But yeah, there's a guy. There's even a guy, like my website is realdavejenkins.com because davejenkins.com is some Margaritaville musician or something. I don't know who he is.
Dude, all right. We didn't talk about it a whole lot, but your YouTube sketches are funny. So can you at least plug your YouTube real quick so people can fucking...
Yeah, that should be the same thing. That should
Real
be
Dave Jenkins? Hell yeah.
All
right, so just like Ralph Sutton talked about, you have social media symmetry. That's fucking solid. Fucking, we had Ralph Sutton on the show, and he really taught us a whole lot about we're fucking up. So, fucking,
it is nice to just have the same phrase for everything.
Yeah. So
I have a link tree. I think you guys did too as well. So that helps.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, you fucked me up. I was like, oh, this sexy bastard with his fucking slick back hair and nice beard has got an OnlyFans. And it turns out it's got a goddamn fucking meme on that shit.
Yeah, it's like it makes your fucking browser explode.
Just fall apart. At first, I was like, what the fuck's going on? What did I click on? I was like, shit, he's got my credit card.
I have data for I haven't looked at it in a while, but I have data for how many clicks each link gets. That one has 30 times as much as any other.
You got me for about 4 of them because, goddamn it, I was like, my shit's fucking up. We had an OnlyFans on here for a little bit, but he got canceled. Because all we did was post pictures of ceiling fans as our only it was. I know that's a hack joke, but we did it, and it fucking they canceled that shit. Fucking okay, dude. One question before we get into the main meat, and then we got 10 minutes left.
Cool.
I didn't prep you for this one, so you ready?
Ooh, all right, interesting.
Yeah, you're 29 years old. You've been through some shit. You traveled the goddamn planet. You're a handyman. You've seen some shit there. We didn't even get to touch on that. Whenever you come back, we're definitely doing that. But if your dick had a voice, what would it sound like?
My dick had a voice. What would it sound like? Probably I've been told I'm an old soul. I feel like my voice sounds like an old.
You got to hit that impression. You're an actor, dude. Let's hear those chops. Let's go.
I feel like my dick would sound like an old New York woman from 1940.
Let's hear an example of this.
I grew up. Every day I wake up, it's the same. It's kind of that.
Fucking smoker
I like
voice.
That. I like that. Like
she eats cigarettes for lunch.
I like that. I think that's one of the best answers we've ever had, for
she
sure.
Lives alone. She just does her life. She fucking. You think I'm gonna accept a free handout from the government? No, she's just. You know what? I think it's the fossil from SpongeBob where it's like, what are they selling? Chocolates?
That's pretty solid. I like that. I like that shit. Yeah, we've had some terrible, dude. Fun fact: if you ask a female that question, they go into detail. I'm like, Jesus Christ, with the flippities and the flappities and the fucking majoras and menoras. Yeah, it's fucking wild. All right, dude. So on this show, we ask everybody the 2 rage and pillage questions. Rage meaning party, pillage meaning stealing. What's your favorite party story that you have that can't get you in trouble now?
Yeah. All right. So, all right. I grew up, like I said, in Yonkers. It's next to the Bronx. There's two other cities next to the Bronx that are very similar. So this takes place in Mount Vernon and ends in Yonkers. Mount Vernon is a city next to the Bronx, just like Yonkers. There's a bar in there that I know someone who owns half of it or something like that. And so I go there shit-faced with like one group of friends, like the friends I think I grew up with. And then, or no, sorry, I went with my friends from high school that aren't the friends I grew up with. They know each other now, but it's a different group of friends. Anyway, I show up at the bar, I'm shit-faced. I'm with the group of friends from high school. And then the friends I grew up with show up. And I'm like, that's my favorite thing. When like, it's like watching a crossover episode of two different shows. It's my favorite thing when two different groups of people that I know hang out and get along. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So I'm blacking out. I'm like 21, I think, at the time. And each group thought I was going home with the other one.
Oh.
So everyone left. And I just come out of the bathroom. It's like 2 or 3 a.m. My phone's dead. I got no money in my wallet. This is probably 2014. So Uber, I don't think wasn't a thing. Whatever. My phone's dead. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I know where I am, but I don't know how to get home. Like, not because I'm drunk, but because I've only ever driven to this place. I've never walked there. It's not a walking distance by far. It's like at least 5 or 6 miles. I don't know. So that's where I black out. I know I'm alone and I black out. I black in running home. And I look around me and I'm on the highway that you have to get to go home. And I'm running along the fucking left shoulder along traffic, just running.
Like
along
literally running? Like literally running?
I'm like jogging, like Forrest Gump. Like I'm just going home on the
Must be,
highway.
dude,
I don't know.
Josh. It must be nice to be like fit, right? I'm walking. I am walking in a terrible way.
So when I found,
I'm running 20 feet puking.
Yeah.
So I'm running home and I look in my pocket and I have a receipt from a gas station for one Red Bull from like 10 minutes ago. And I'm like, I just drank a Red Bull and that blacked me back in. Like I stopped being blacked out.
No shit. Just reading that?
Just reading the receipt. I was like, when did I get a Red Bull? Like I saw the date and time. I'm like, that was recently.
Dude, that's funny. Like mind over matter. Like apparently I drank it. Yeah.
So I black in. I'm running on the highway. I recognize everything. I know the rest of the way, but I don't know how the fuck to get off because I don't know how do you exit a highway on foot. So I just kept going. I'm like, I know the distance. It's not going to be fun, but I know the way, and I could just fucking power through it. I had to get home. I couldn't sleep at a friend's house. I had to go somewhere with my family the next morning.
I'm running.
And now I'm back in Yonkers. I'm out of Mount Vernon. I'm back in Yonkers. I'm still on the same highway, but I'm back in more familiar areas. And I'm about to exit, if that's what you could call it.
Yeah.
And a cop car pulls me over.
Oh, your blinker on?
You could call it that. The cop car shows up, and I start talking to them, and it's like 3 guys. Maybe it was 2 cars, but it was definitely 3 guys. And they were like, "Hey, so we got some calls about a guy on the highway." And I was like, "Listen, I know how this is gonna sound. I don't know how else to get home."
That's hilarious.
I was at Maggie Spillane's and I live in Yonkers and I'm trying to get to this general area. I don't know how else to get home. I've never walked the back roads that way. This is the only way I know how to get home. And they're like, okay. So they're making sure I'm not like an insane person escaping or like violent.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, like, where are you going? I tell them the address. They go, what's your ID? They confirm it's the same address. They're like, okay, we'll take you. I'm like, wow, what a godsend. This is great. I'm not even going. And I get in the car and I'm like excited. I'm like, wow, I only had to go half the distance. This is great. And then we get off the highway onto like any road. And then they're just like, get out. I'm like, what? And they're like, we just had to get you off the highway. We don't give a shit about taking you.
Jesus Christ.
I did the math. I'm like, dude, I'm further away from where I was than when you picked me up. This fucking sucks. Like this.
Jesus Christ.
And then I had to walk the whole way fucking home. And I'm pretty sure, unless my parents are listening, that they don't know about that. But yeah,
holy
I fucking
shit.
ran like 7 miles home on the highway.
Dog.
Jeez.
That's fucking wild. You had like
That sucks.
I was waiting for some sort of a weird super bad moment, you know.
I wish it would have been cooler. I thought they were gonna be friends with me and be like, dude, so what were you getting up to? Because
That's hilarious. They're like, fuck this kid, you know.
Like, all right, yeah. They were like, all right, he's off the highway. Let's get to the fucking station and clock out. Like I was like, oh fuck, you guys just made it worse.
Well, dude, that beats jail. It does. It really fucking does. Yeah. Where you were,
I would have been real embarrassed.
You were hammered, right?
I was fucking zooted, yeah.
Yeah, so fucking you got lucky in the long run. So just having the old I am running.
I think I really worked on the first sentence, like the first line of what I said. I really worked on it. So I was like, I know how this sounds. Like I was very articulate, more than I normally would be. And I think that just convinced them that I wasn't.
So drunk Burley nowadays would be like, fuck cops, George Floyd, you know, fucking. I know me, dude. Black Lives Matter, bitch. And then I'd be in jail. So I would not even think to use my fucking privilege. So, well, dude, second half, dude. We got just a few minutes left, dude. We won't keep you too long. Fucking pillage. Everybody's stolen something. If you've stolen money out of your mom's purse, if you fucking stolen a piece of gum from the store, everybody's stolen something. I think we've only had one guest that didn't steal something. So fucking, what's your pillage story that can't land you in jail today? Because we've had a few of those where I'm like, dude, we gotta rephrase this shit.
It took a little while to think about because the first 10 seconds boring is I don't really steal anything either. It's not in me. I don't know. I can't do it. But then I realized as a kid, we had a phase. Like, did you guys throw eggs at shit?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now they're too expensive.
Oh. Now you might as well throw a fucking wad of singles at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we used to egg shit all the time. And sooner or later, every corner store, like after Halloween, just any day of the week, like we would just do it. And every corner store, when we were like 10, 11, 12 years old, they just stopped selling us eggs. They were like, we were like, we have money. Like, we'll pay double. They're like, I don't want your fucking blood money. Like, get out of here. So we didn't have eggs to throw, and we were like, what are we going to do? We can't not throw shit. So we found a tomato patch, and then this set off, I would say, every 3 weeks for like 5 years. We would, if it was summer, we would just find a tomato patch, take tomatoes, and then throw them at whatever bus was coming next.
Do you know how much that blows my mind? Like, I thought Houston was like, we have shit like that. And I would have never thought New York, even Yonkers and all that shit, fucking has that kind of shit. I wouldn't know where to find tomatoes in Houston. We got paintball guns to do that shit. we did paintball guns instead of tomatoes.
I think a big difference between like East Coast and like the rest of the country is like we're technically colonial. So like a lot of our cities were planned 200 years before cars. I mean, especially Yonkers. So like Yonkers was founded by Dutch people in like 1640, like before Shakespeare.
God damn.
So all of our roads and cities are planned in a way where like you could walk all of it in 20 minutes. Like that's just how it's.
No
so, like,
shit.
We know we know like I never needed a car growing up until I like had until I could drive one, but I didn't need it. Like I didn't need it to go anywhere.
That was gonna be one of the questions I asked you tonight, and we hadn't gotten to it. But like fucking living in New York, like have you ever owned a car whenever you lived in New York?
Yeah. So I went to school. I went to high school and college in the Bronx. I didn't plan on having a car, but my buddy, my best friend at the time, his dad was like getting a new car, so he was getting rid of his car. And my buddy didn't accept it. He's like, I don't want it. I don't need it. It's a piece of shit. Fucking, I don't care. And then his dad was like, do you want it? To me? And I was like, fuck yeah, I want it. It was a 94 Toyota Corolla, and it was awesome. It was a fucking great car.
It's a goddamn car, yeah.
Yeah, so I owned that. And then for like a couple years after college, my parents had a car that they just let me use if I needed it. But then since then, no, I definitely don't need one now. It's more of a fucking liability than it is.
We've talked to other people on the show that were like born and raised in New York, and like, I don't even have a driver's license. There's no need for me to have one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all over the place. I mean, both of my parents are from the Bronx, but they're not from the same part of the Bronx. So like my dad got a license when he was 16. He knew how to drive his whole life. my mom didn't get a license until she was like 30.
No shit.
My dad
no reason.
taught my mom, her mom, his mom, and like 5 other people how to drive. Like, it's so stupid.
Well, I mean, I have a similar story. When I married my wife, she'd never driven, and fucking, I was like, we're fixing this real fast, you know.
Where's she from?
Is she from Houston? You know,
And just never fucking drove?
never was taught. Yeah. So, yeah, dude, it's fucking weird shit.
No, I like driving. Driving in the Bronx and like Staten Island, you kind of need it. Like those are very spread out places. It's a real pain in the ass in Queens or in Brooklyn or Manhattan, but yeah, like 2 of the boroughs at least. Definitely, I would want a car if I was a kid. Like you got to go around.
You have to, huh?
Yeah.
Well, dude, this has been a goddamn blast. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, this was fun. I feel like I said, my girlfriend's away for a couple days, so I wasn't hanging out with anyone anyway. Like,
Yeah,
just
well,
watching my
perfect.
phone.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, fucking, like, dude, this is that. We just want it to be a hang, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to drill you on your whole life and fucking. We just want to just have some fun, talk about some shit that we're thinking about, you know. So thanks for coming on, dude. You're fucking hilarious. If y'all, anybody listening wants to find him, go to Dave Jenkins everywhere. DaveJenkins.com. Wait, is it Comic Dave Jenkins?
Real Dave Jenkins.
Real
sorry.
Dave, yeah, okay. I had to move my window over slightly. RealDaveJenkins.com, and it's Real Dave Jenkins on all his Instagram. Dude, thank you for being on. It's been a goddamn blast.
Dude, thank you. This is exactly what I needed today.
Well, you know what we ought to do. You know what you ought to do. Have you finished that bottle already?
No, and I can't chug it. I can't explain it, but I have like half.
Do you have a shot left over there, Josh? I've got whatever this is. It's called Yukon Jack. Somebody gave it to me for my birthday.
I don't.
Okay, you got to chug a beer now. So
I don't, but I've got about a shot left of beer then.
that'll work. Dave will fucking take a chug out of not a chug, but a swig at the bottle. Take a Yukon Jack. We'll do one of these and fucking call it a night. Let's go.
All right. Slàinte.
Give me a hell yeah.
I don't know what language you just spoke, but the Spanish call that El Terrible. God damn.
That was Scottish. That was Slàinte, but in Scottish it's cilantro.
Cilantro? Say it again.
Slàinte. I think it means to like good health or something.
Cilantro. Okay. You know what? That goes into the. You wouldn't know how to spell that, would you?
Slainte.
Hold on,
Space.
slow down. This you are literally naming the episode, so you got to spell it.
I think it's Slainte is definitely how you spell Slàinte, and then
I made it to SLI, dude. You're speaking so fast.
Sorry, SLAI.
Oh, AI.
NTE. I don't know how to spell VA. It might be like VAG. Let me just look it up in 5 seconds.
Yeah. Let's look that up because you're responsible for this. So, hey, dude, Josh, Dave is fucking fire, huh?
Oh God, Slàinte. It's spelled so fucking crazy. You want to know how to spell VA?
All right, spell it slow and I'll spell it. Yeah, so SAI. Sorry, SIE. Sorry, SLAI.
SLAI.
NTE. Okay, I got that.
That's Slàinte. Just take a guess what letter starts VA.
PH.
M.
God damn it. This is why they lost the war.
Yep.
All right. M what?
MHATH.
All right,
Good
you know
health.
what? This is why they had a potato famine. I'm telling you that now. Brother, love you. Thanks for being on. Hopefully this isn't your only time you've ever been on. Fucking you have an open invitation anytime you want to be on, dude.
Yeah, no, this is fucking awesome. I'm having a good time. So
Glad you
thank
had
for
fun, dude. So fucking hey, everybody else, see y'all next Tuesday.